My coworker Ryan spent 6 months telling everyone his IQ was 147 until our boss paid for the whole office to take real tests. He quit after he found out his real score. Ryan started at our accounting firm last January. First day, first meeting, we're doing introductions. Normal stuff, where you're from, your role, maybe a fun fact. Ryan's turn. I'm Ryan, senior analyst, and I have a tested IQ of 147. That's technically genius level. Dead silence. Our manager Janet just said, okay, next. But that was just the beginning. Every conversation became about his intelligence. You'd mentioned traffic was bad. Ryan would launch into how his superior pattern recognition lets him navigate routes ordinary minds couldn't see. Someone struggles with Excel? It's intuitive when you have my cognitive capacity. The worst part was how he'd explain basic things to people with actual expertise. Tried to teach our IT director how computers work. Explained taxation to Janet, who has a master's in accounting and 20 years experience. Told me my coffee was suboptimal because people with heightened intelligence require specific caffeine ratios. He kept a printed MENSA certificate on his desk, not membership, just the certificate saying he'd qualified for testing. When our intern Amy asked why he wasn't an actual member, he said organizational structures couldn't contain minds like his. 3 months in, it got unbearable. Ryan submitted a proposal for restructuring our entire workflow. Fine, people suggest improvements, but his proposal included an org chart with everyone's IQ estimates next to their names. He assigned Janet 105. Our senior partner got 95. Amy, who graduated summa cum laude from Northwestern, got 88. He gave himself 147, obviously. Janet called him in. We could hear through the walls. You can't rank your colleagues by imaginary IQ scores. They're not imaginary. I have advanced observational assessment capabilities. Ryan, this is inappropriate. You're responding emotionally, which actually validates my assessment of your cognitive range. Janet came out of that meeting looking murderous. The breaking point came during our quarterly presentation. Big clients in the room, including Bell Tech Industries, huge contract we'd been courting for months. Ryan wasn't supposed to present, but interrupted our senior analyst Mike to optimize the data interpretation for the intellectually diverse room. He pulled up his own slides, Comic Sans font, clip art from 2003, a pie chart that somehow added up to 117%. The Dell Tech CEO asked about the math error. Ryan laughed and said, "It's not an error when you understand quantum accounting principles. It requires an IQ above 140 to grasp." Quantum accounting? Yes. Numbers exist in multiple states until observed. Basic stuff for those of us in the cognitive elite. We lost the contract. Janet snapped. But instead of firing him, which would have led to a discrimination lawsuit since Ryan had started claiming his genius was a protected characteristic, she got creative. Team building exercise, she announced the next week. The company's paying for everyone to take professional IQ tests. It'll help us understand our work styles better. Ryan practically vibrated with excitement. Finally, validation. We all went to a certified testing center. Real psychologists, proper conditions, the whole deal. Ryan finished his test in half the time, loudly announcing he found it insultingly simple. 2 weeks later, Janet scheduled a meeting. Let's discuss our results. She'd made a PowerPoint. Very professional. Started with general information about IQ distributions, how tests work, standard deviations. Ryan kept interrupting to add his expert insights. Then she showed the scores. Mike, 118. Amy, 124. Me, 107. Janet, 112. Ryan laughed. You're displaying them wrong. Mine should be at the top. I'm going by alphabetical order, Janet said. Yours is next. Click. Ryan, 89. The room went silent. Ryan's face went white, then red, then a color I can only describe as suburban rage purple. That's wrong. The test was biased. I was having an off day. The fluorescent lights interfered with my neural pathways. Amy, sweet Amy, who'd been called an 88, just said, so you're saying environmental factors can impact test performance? Like how socioeconomic factors affect access to education? That's different. How? Ryan started pulling up his phone. I have documentation. Online tests. I took one last week and got 163. Janet pulled up the website he was showing. Ryan, this is freeiqquiz.net. It says here that everyone who pays $9.99 for the certificate scores above 140. That's when Ryan made his fatal error. You're all jealous of exceptional minds. This is what happens when average intelligence encounters greatness. You're literally too stupid to understand how smart I am. Ryan stormed out. Sent an email that night about hostile work environment, discriminatory testing, and cognitive harassment. CC'd the entire company, including the CEO. The CEO responded all, Ryan, you submitted this proposal ranking employees by IQ 3 months ago. You established the precedent. Also, you scored 89. Ryan didn't come back.